Grandma, I am panicking. Dad sold the 529 last month to pay off his business loans. He didn't tell anyone. What do I do?
Stephen, he wouldn't. But she knew he had.
In her room, Sophia sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her phone, waiting for a reply that didn't come. Carolyn placed the phone face down on the armrest. She didn't need to reply. Her hands were steady, resting on the table as if nothing had happened. But 60 miles away, Sophia pulled her knees to her chest and fought the tears. No message came back. The screen stayed dark. Less than 2 minutes later, Carolyn was reaching for her car keys. The living room sat still, as if holding its breath. She didn't text back. Some answers needed to be given in person. That 529 college savings plan had been Sophia's only real shot at Brown. Her father, Stephen, had been the custodian since the account was opened.
I got the partial scholarship, but without the 529, there's a $30,000 hole.
Stephen had been losing his fight with the business for over a year. The acceptance letter from Brown arrived that spring, but Sophia's joy lasted only hours.
He sold it last month. He didn't even tell me.
The account that had once held over $60,000 now had a balance of zero. Stephen told himself he would fix it before Sophia ever found out, but some fixes require more than apologies, and the deadline was 3 weeks away.
I don't know what to do anymore. I am out of options.
But 16 years before that text message, Carolyn had already set a different plan in motion. In 2008, when Sophia was 2, Carolyn walked into a credit union and opened an account no one else knew about. She named it a Utama with Sophia as beneficiary and kept the paperwork in a drawer never mentioned. Every month, without fail, $300 left her checking account and landed in that fund. The statements piled up quietly, quarter after quarter, year after year. She invested conservatively, bonds, index funds, the kind of slow, patient growth that outlasts panic. By the time Sophia started high school, the balance was solid enough to cover a semester, but Carolyn never touched it. Not once. Not even when her roof needed replacing.
This is her safety net, Stephen. You don't know it exists, and I hope you never need to.
The account was never meant to be a gift. It was a contingency built on the quiet suspicion that Stephen might fail his daughter. But suspicion wasn't enough to help Sophia now. Carolyn opened a drawer and pulled out the UTMA folder. She didn't waste time changing. She put on her coat, took her purse, and locked the door. The walk to the credit union was less than a mile, and she made it every month. This time, her steps were heavier. The building hadn't changed in 30 years. Same brick, same parking lot, same flag. She pushed through the glass door. The folder held tight against her chest. The teller behind the counter recognized her and nodded, but Carolyn didn't smile back. She had a different kind of business today, the kind no one in the family saw coming. Inside, the air conditioning hummed. The clock on the wall ticked past 2.
I've waited 16 years to use this. I didn't want to need it.
She stepped up to the counter. Whatever she was about to do, she'd do it alone. The manager led her to a small office. She placed the folder on the desk and opened it.
I want to transfer full ownership to my granddaughter.
The paperwork was simple. Change of registration, new signature card. She filled every line without hesitation. Then she authorized a direct payment to Brown's bursar, the full remaining balance to settle Sophia's account. The account statement they printed showed a final value of $164,000. Carolyn looked at the number and nodded. Not a penny for her. She set up Emily as a co-signer for emergencies, giving her access without control. The confirmation hit her phone before she reached the door. Sophia's fall tuition, paid in full.
She won't know until the right moment, but she won't lose her dream.
She folded the slip, slid it back into the folder, and walked out. No one else knew. Back in her car, Carolyn dialed Emily's number. The phone rang 3 times before a tired voice answered.
Hello? Carolyn, is something wrong?
Number. In fact, I am calling to tell you something's been set right. Sophia's tuition at Brown is covered. In full.
Covered? But Stephen emptied the account. What did Carolyn do? I don't understand. The 529 is gone. How is that possible?
A separate account. I opened it when she was 2, 300 a month.
16 years, Carolyn. I don't know what to say. You never told anyone.
No one needed to know. Steven still doesn't. I've added you as co-signer. It stays between us.
He's going to find out the tuition is paid. He'll ask questions.
Let him ask. You don't owe him an answer. Just tell Sophia it's handled. She doesn't need to carry this weight.
The bursar notification lit up her phone at 8:14 p.m. Sophia read it, and her breath caught.
Paid in full. But Dad emptied the 529. There's nothing left. Mom, I just got a bursar email. My account says 0 balance. The tuition is paid.
That's wonderful, sweetheart. Grandma called. She said everything was handled.
Grandma? She didn't text me back. How could she do this?
Emily chose her words with care, guarding a secret still raw.
I need to know. Mom, was it her? Where did the money come from?
Come over. I'll tell you what I can, but the full story is hers. Just know it's real.
An hour later, Sophia walked into her mother's kitchen. Emily pulled her into a hug before a single question could form.
I'll thank her in person. There's no way this is ordinary.
The phone rang just after 9. Stephen's name on the screen.
Mom, I heard from Emily. Sophia's tuition is showing as paid. How'd that happen?
I handled it. You don't need to worry.
Handled how? There's no money left in the 529. I made sure of that.
That's your business. Sophia's tuition is mine.
You can't just reach into your savings and pay $60,000, Mom. What did you do?
Carolyn let the silence sit between them, heavy as a verdict.
What I did is between Sophia and me. She'll go to Brown. That's the end of it.
This is about control, isn't it? You are punishing me for the business loans.
She ended the call without another word, leaving his questions unanswered and his guilt intact. Stephen didn't wait for morning. He drove to Emily's house, engine idling, anger rehearsed.
It's late, Stephen. Sophia's here, not the time.
In the kitchen, Sophia froze mid-bite, the spoon trembling.
Don't play this game. I know Carolyn paid. How did she come up with $60,000 overnight?
She handled it. That's all you need to know. Go home.
Dad, I don't know where the money came from. Please, it's paid. Can't that be enough?
Stephen turned without a word, boots heavy on gravel. The bar stool was waiting. He slumped at his kitchen table. The lone noticed a balled fist. His whisper filled the empty room. Emily texted, "Stop digging. This isn't yours to solve. Let her have this piece." Sophia clutched her phone, the memory of her mother's arms like armor. They'd get through this the Saturday before Easter. Carolyn ironed the linen tablecloth herself, smoothing every crease with a palm that didn't shake.
He'll ask for a loan. He'll talk about family obligations. I am ready.
She opened her planner. 16 years of monthly entries, every Watma $300, written in the same blue ink. She set the good china, 4 places, and lit the tapered candles.
I didn't miss a single month. Not one.
The house smelled of rosemary and ham. Everything was perfect. The only thing missing was peace.
He doesn't know I've already paid. He'll learn.
Her only prop was the truth. She didn't need to raise her voice. She touched her wedding ring, thinking of the promise she'd kept to her son, the promise to protect Sophia. At 2 o'clock, she sat at the head of the table, waiting. The doorbell would ring soon. The doorbell chimed. Carolyn didn't rush. She smoothed her sweater and walked to the door.
Happy Easter. Come in, all of you.
Stephen stepped inside first. His jaw tight, he offered her a stiff nod. Sophia followed, quiet, eyes darting toward her grandmother. She mouthed a thank you that never reached her voice. Emily brought up the rear. She exchanged a glance with Carolyn, one that held 1,000 unspoken words. The table waited. Candles flickering, roses wilting just enough to feel honest. Stephen took his seat without waiting. refolding his napkin twice.
Just get through dinner. Please, let us get through dinner.
Emily sat across from Stephen, her hand finding Sophia's under the table. Carolyn took her place at the head, her spine straight as a hymn. The silence before Grace felt heavier than it should. Grace was brief. Stephen reached for the wine before anyone else, pouring himself a glass 3 fingers full.
So, Sophia, Brown's tuition deadline is this week, right? Everything squared away?
It's handled, Dad. Grandma said so.
Handled how? I need to understand what's going on.
Emily's knife paused mid-cut. The tension was back, thick as gravy.
Sophia is going to Brown. That's all that matters tonight.
It matters how. I was custodian of the 529, and I have a right to know where the replacement came from.
Sophia's shoulders hunched. She looked like she wanted the floor to open. Stephen set down his glass and leaned in. The question he'd been circling finally landed.
Mom, I am asking for a family loan. The business needs help for Sophia's future.
Carolyn placed her napkin on the table. The movement was small, but everyone stopped.
Sophia's tuition is already handled. It's been handled since Tuesday.
Handled by whom? Mom, what are you talking about?
Sophia's eyes went wide. She stared at her grandmother as if seeing her for the first time. Emily didn't react. She already knew the answer, but she still held her breath.
I said, it's handled. That's all you need to know for now.
You can't just say that. How is it handled? Where did the money come from?
Sophia wanted to ask the same questions, but the look on her grandmother's face silenced her. Emily gave Sophia a small nod, a signal to trust in what Carolyn was doing. She picked up her fork and continued eating, leaving Stephen's question to hang in the air like an unanswered prayer.
You are hiding something. This whole dinner feels like a setup.
The only thing being set up here, Stephen, is Sophia's future. And that's been settled.
You are turning my own daughter against me. This is not protection. It's sabotage.
His voice cracked on the last word, too loud now for the room.
No one turned her. She came to me because you drained her account without a word.
Sophia's eyes darted from face to face, her breath shallow. Emily's hand found Sophia's again, a silent anchor.
You think I wanted to? You think this was easy? I was drowning?
You drowned your daughter's future to stay afloat. I won't let you do it again.
The silence that followed was louder than any shout. Stephen's chest rose and fell as if he'd run miles.
Tell me who paid. I want to hear you say it.
Carolyn let the question sit in the silence, thick and heavy, before she finally answered.
You spent her future. I spent mine on her.
The words fell like a gavel. No one at the table drew breath. For 3 long seconds, the only sound was the ticking of the clock on the mantel. Then Sophia's shoulders dropped, as if a physical weight had been lifted off her. Carolyn did not look away. She had waited 16 years for this moment, and she was not going to waste it. Stephen tried to speak, but the air had been knocked out of him. His mouth opened and closed wordlessly.
She did it for me. She spent 16 years for me.
Stephen's face reddened, a mix of shame and anger. He didn't know where to look.
I was going to pay it back. You don't know what I was facing.
Carolyn's expression didn't change. She had waited too long for this moment to let him rewrite it.
When Sophia turned 2, I walked into the credit union and opened a Utama account in her name.
She folded her hands on the table, her voice level, as if reciting a ledger.
Every month, for 16 years, $300. I never missed a payment.
Stephen's lips moved silently, counting. The arithmetic was a weight pressing on his chest.
That's over 50,000 in deposits, but the 529 was the market.
$164,000, Stephen. I transferred full ownership to Sophia on Tuesday and paid Brown directly.
The number hung in the air like a verdict. Stephen's face went pale. Emily's hand tightened around Sophia's. There was no taking any of it back now. Stephen shoved his chair back, the scrape loud against the floor. His napkin fell to the carpet.
I can't sit here and let you paint me as the villain.
No one answered. The silence was answer enough. He turned and walked out, his footsteps echoing down the hallway. The front door clicked shut. For a long moment, the dining room stayed still. Then Sophia let out a breath she'd been holding for weeks. Emily reached across the table and squeezed Carolyn's hand. Sophia pressed a napkin to her eyes. She was crying, but her shoulders were no longer up around her ears.
He'll be angry for a long time, but anger is not the same as being right.
I don't know what to say to him, Grandma. I don't know if I can.
You don't have to tonight. Right now, you just need to know that you are not alone.
Carolyn reached for the bread basket and passed it to Sophia. The simple act broke the unbearable stillness. Sophia took the slice, then set it down. Tears spilled before she could speak. She pushed her chair back and walked around the table, wrapping her arms around Carolyn. Emily stood too and pulled them both into her embrace, the three women swaying. Carolyn smoothed Sophia's hair, her own composure cracking just enough.
Thank you. She has a future now because of you.
I don't know how I'll ever repay this.
Watching you walk across that stage will be payment enough.
Emily kissed the top of Sophia's head, gratitude passing in silence. The ham sat cold, the candles burned low, but the table felt lighter than it had in weeks. In the kitchen, Carolyn poured coffee while Emily stacked the dessert plates. The clink of porcelain filled the silence.
I still can't believe you kept this secret for 16 years. $300 a month. Do you know what that means?
It means she has choices, Emily. When Sophia turned 2, I knew I couldn't control Stephen's decisions, only my own.
She took a sip of coffee, her eyes distant, as if counting the years.
You never trusted him with her future, even back then.
I hoped I was wrong, but I opened that account anyway, just in case.
In the hallway, Sophia paused. She had come for a glass of water, but found herself leaning against the wall, listening.
She did all of this quietly, and I never even knew.
Carolyn glanced toward the doorway and saw her granddaughter standing there. She said nothing, just opened an arm. Sophia crossed the kitchen and leaned her head on her grandmother's shoulder. No words were needed. After a long silence, Sophia pulled back just enough to meet her grandmother's eyes. Her cheeks were still damp.
Grandma, I don't know how to repay you. It's so much, I can't even.
It was never alone, Sophia. It was a promise I made myself when you were 2 years old.
A promise she kept in secret, through all the years I didn't know. For me.
Just promise me, you'll go to Brown, study hard, and make every dollar, every cent, count.
I will. I'll make you proud. I swear it on everything I have.
Carolyn cupped Sophia's face in her hands, her thumbs brushing away tears. It was a benediction.
I won't waste this. Every class, every late night in the library, every moment.
Carolyn smiled, and for the first time that night, the smile reached her eyes and stayed. Outside the window, the first stars appeared. The house had found its peace again. At the front door, Sophia hugged her grandmother one last time before climbing into Emily's car. Carolyn stood on the step and watched the taillights shrink until they disappeared around the bend. She closed the door and leaned her back against it. The house was silent, but not empty.
He'll hold on to his anger as long as he needs to. Whether he ever lets it go is his choice now.
She walked to the window and watched the sky deepen to purple and gold. No regret, only a quiet pride in what she'd done. The lockbox key caught the lamplight from her open purse. She had no need to hide it anymore. Tomorrow, she'd put the planner away. Tonight, she just wanted to sit with the stillness. The kitchen clock ticked. The dishwasher hummed. The house that had felt like a war zone just hours ago folded her in like an old friend. Outside, the first star had climbed over the neighbor's roof. Carolyn watched it until it blurred. Some futures are built in public. Others are planted in secret, watered for 16 years, and bloom only when no one is looking. Weeks later, Carolyn's phone buzzed on the kitchen table. Sophia had sent her a photograph. She stood in front of the Brown University sign, her dorm key dangling from one hand, grinning so wide it crinkled her eyes. Carolyn placed the phone beside an old frame on the mantel. Sophia at 2, laughing, the very day she'd opened the account. She touched the lockbox key. Now resting in the open, the box was empty, but the purpose was full.
She's where she belongs. Every deposit, every sacrifice, it all led here.
The toddler frame caught the morning light, as if the past and present had finally agreed. She ironed her sweater and put the key in the drawer, not hidden, just no longer needed. In her dorm, Sophia unpacked her books. The spines were still new, but the promise was old. Carolyn picked up her coffee. Outside, spring had finally arrived, the garden stirring. The money was spent, the love was invested, and the only debt left was one only the heart could carry. Grateful, weightless, free.